Emily had just moved into the old suburban house with her infant son. Liam, eager to start a new chapter, the previous owners had left behind a baby monitor, its small green light flickering even in the corner of the empty nursery that night. As Emily settled on the couch with a book, she heard a faint, crackling whisper coming from the monitor, "Mummy." It said. Her heart skipped a beat. She froze. Liam was asleep in his crib. Emily shook her head, convinced she was imagining things. The whisper came again, louder this time. "Mommy, play with me." Panic curled in her stomach. She rushed to the nursery, checked the crib, but Liam was sound asleep. She unplugged the monitor, thinking that interference or some malfunction had caused the voice, but the night refused to stay silent. Later, in the kitchen, she heard the whisper, again, coming from the unplugged monitor, "Mummy, don't leave." Emily dropped the device, her hands trembling, fear pooled in her chest. She ran through the house, checking every corner, every shadow. Nothing moved, nothing stirred. Just the silent hum of the refrigerator. She tried to calm herself, convincing herself it was stress, moving into a new house, adjusting to life as a single mother. Yet when she returned to the nursery, the monitor lit up on its own, and a soft giggle followed. Chilling her blood, Emily decided to call the previous owners the next morning, hoping for a rational explanation, but they sounded confused. "We left the monitor behind because it was broken. It sometimes picks up sounds from old wiring," they explained. Emily tried to dismiss it, but that night, as she finally drifted off on the couch, Liam sleeping peacefully, the whisper returned, insistent and urgent. "Mummy, come closer. Don't let me out." Emily's sleepless nights became routine. She could barely function during the day, every shadow in the house stretching into something sinister. The whisper followed her, always just out of sight, yet close enough to make her skin crawl. "Mommy, watch me." It called. Sometimes it mimicked Liam's voice, soft and innocent. Sometimes it twisted into something cruel, taunting. Emily began noticing scratches on the nursery walls, thin, angry lines that hadn't been there before. She blamed herself. Exhaustion playing tricks, until she found the small handprints, too small to belong to a human child, smeared in dust on the floor. The monitor flickered violently as she stared, and a dark shape seemed to shift inside the nursery one night, determined to confront whatever was haunting her home. Emily set up a camera in the nursery, recording everything while she hid in the living room. The monitor lit up again, the voice now screaming, "Mummy, open the door, let me in." Emily's hands shook as she tried to warn Liam, but the monitor went silent. The nursery darkened still. She waited until morning, her nerves raw, then reviewed the footage. Her blood ran cold on the video. Liam slept peacefully, yet a small, shadowy figure crawled along the walls, reaching toward the crib, its eyes glinting red in the camera light. Emily felt bile rise in her throat, realizing the voice had not come from the monitor alone. Something inside the house had been speaking, watching, waiting. Emily barely slept that night, her eyes constantly flicking toward the nursery door. The shadow on the video haunted her, a presence she couldn't explain. She considered calling someone, a priest, a paranormal investigator, anyone who might make sense of what was happening, but fear rooted her in place. She sat on the edge of the couch, Liam asleep and unaware, when she heard it again, a whisper, soft but urgent, "Mummy, open it." She froze, every hair on her body standing on end. The voice came from the monitor, yet also seemed to echo from the wall behind her. Creeping toward the nursery, Emily noticed something impossible. A second door, narrow and black, had appeared where there had been plain wall, its edges hummed with cold, unnatural energy. She could feel it in her bones. The whisper became louder. "Mummy, come, join me." Emily's mind screamed at her to run, but her feet carried her forward. Drawn by a mix of terror and maternal instinct, she reached for the door handle, trembling. And as her fingers brushed the cold metal, the monitor erupted with static. Liam's crib shaking violently, the shadow from the walls crawled through the doorframe. A twisting, formless shape, and the voice screamed, "He's mine. He's mine." Emily stumbled back, her heart hammering, the door vanishing as suddenly as it had appeared. The nursery was empty, the monitor dead, and Liam asleep. Giggling softly, oblivious, she didn't sleep for the rest of the night. Huddled on the couch, praying the house would remain silent, yet in the morning, she found the first of many scratches along the hallway, spelling her name as if whatever had whispered, whatever had watched, was claiming the house center asterisk. Emily tried to leave, packing what little she could, Liam in his car seat, the house looming behind her like a living nightmare. But as she drove off, the monitor, which she had thrown in, the trash, rang inside her bag, its green light flickering, its voice distorted but unmistakable. "Mummy, don't go, stay, forever." She screamed, throwing it onto the street, but it kept speaking, following her, echoing inside her skull. The radio and phone lines crackled, carrying the voice, twisting her thoughts, filling her with dread. She realized she could not escape, not while the house or whatever lived in it still existed. Weeks passed. Emily moved into a new apartment, far from the suburban nightmare. Liam, healthy, laughing, yet at night, when the house was silent, she heard a faint whisper through her dreams, a giggle that sounded like Liam's but wasn't. "Mummy, come back." Every monitor, every baby device, every speaker in the new home seemed to hum softly, carrying the same voice, as if the entity had followed her. Bound to the sound, to the connection, Emily sleeps lightly, staring at the dark corners of her apartment, praying she doesn't hear it again, and somewhere, far away, in the old house she abandoned, the monitor sits in the nursery, flickering to life on its own, awaiting the next voice it will claim.